Hello there everybody and welcome to a Space Engineers series. In this series we are going to learn how to sell. And by sell I mean S for survive. We have a few aggressive mods in here. So we're going to have to try and survive against different NPCs that want to destroy us. We also need to explore. We have 2 new planets as well as the regular ones that we've got, and we've got a random solar system. So I've never actually been on all the planets, so it'll be interesting to see that. The first L is going to be to learn. Essentially, I want to focus on making both functional as well as aesthetically pleasing ships, which will be good, and just using perhaps some systems I haven't done in the past. And then the second L is essentially to listen to the comment section. So whether or not that's suggestions for ships names, what you guys want to see us build, or even just some advice, it's definitely appreciated. So that's what we're going to do, and without further ado, let's jump into it. We're off to see the wizard. Okay, we are being dropped off at the Earth-like planet. It looks like we are going to hit some crazy mountain range. I think that's a lake in the distance. We've got some snowy capped mountains there. We're having a look around, seeing if we can find any boulders. There's one over there. That tends to be very good for just early game materials because you don't have to dig down. This is a very awkward spot for us to be landing, but we'll do it. Nice. Right. We are going to jump out. We're going to take a quick look at the situation, see if everything is okay. Doesn't look like anything in particular took some damage. Which is quite nice. You can see on our UI we've got all of our energy, which is just dropped down. We have our oxygen, which is dropping as well for some reason. We can open our helmet with J. Why are you dropping down? How strange. And we have our hydrogen in the middle. This is our survival kit. This is essentially where we respawn, as well as produce our first set of resources. And yeah, it's not a bad little dropship. First things first, let's run up this mountain. Let's just get a quick overview of what's going on. The sun is setting, rising, sure, rising, and then that's boulders over there. Not the best, but we can definitely make do with this. So with Space Engineers, there's a lot of items that are locked behind progression. So we can't build any of these until we build certain types of blocks. So you can see here, there's a basic assembler that we need to build, which will give us access to turrets, lights, etc, etc. The bigger assemblers, batteries, everything like that. You can see here, if we build interior walls, we get access to all of these basic refineries, and so on and so forth. So the way that we would... It's getting a bit dark, actually. The way that we would deal with that is we go down here. We'll grind down one of these items until we get below the functional line. And then we'll just weld it back up. And then you can see, by building the landing gear, you've unlocked progression. So we can go back down here. We can see the landing gear has given us the option for all of these different blocks now. Then the next stage would be for us to build any of these to unlock the next set of items, really. But for now, we don't really have a lot, so we're just trying to keep an eye out. For example, the O2H2 generator, we do have that on our ship as well, which is over here. This is what produces all of our oxygen and hydrogen from ice, essentially. So we can, below the line, rebuild it, and then we get new blocks. And I believe the lights is the same thing. Unknown technology, you have to research it first. Okay, it's this one, isn't it? You're an interior light. Yeah, you are. I just call you a light. So there's that. We'd need to build a basic assembler, which we don't currently have. So let's have a look here. We managed to unlock all of these different types of blocks. A medium cargo container, small or large, will allow us to unlock these. I know for a fact there is one located somewhere in here. I think it's that little block there. So for now, I'm actually just gonna get rid of these. There we go. We're going to jump on it. If we can. Can we jump in? You're not going to let me, are you? Alright, we're going in the hard way. There we go. Because essentially I want to get to... Where are you? More cargo container. There you go. Perfect. And that's going to give us a few more blocks, which are really helpful. All of these different cargoes. Then we need to do a small conveyor to get more blocks. Why am I still stuck in here? Someone let me out. Let me out. Ugh. That's the assert. So these guys, if they get close to us, they're going to want to attack us. So we want to leave them alone. To say the least. Okay. Could you let me out? Crazy thing. It's not doing very well for us. Perfect. So we managed to get all of these blocks as well. Now the next thing we could do is build some of these power generators. And that would allow us to get even more blocks. So that's what we're going to be focusing on. Is essentially getting enough resources to start building some items. So the O2H2 generator, I'll just show you guys for an example. We can take some hydrogen bottles and some oxygen bottles. No real need because we're on the planet. But we have a little bit of ice, which is producing the hydrogen for us. We've got a few other things on here at the moment. An ore detector, for example. This will just show us if there's any ores that come near us. We have that small cargo container, which I don't think was anything was in it at the moment. No, but we do have a gun in the passenger seat. The survival kit here, you can see in the production section. It can produce all these different kinds of components. It is a little bit more limited to what you can build, but you use essentially gravel at the moment, or rocks. So we'll just go in here, let's just mine up some bits, shall we? Okay. Well, that was lucky. We found some magnesium already, and some nickel. So those are very good. Nickel's used for like motors and batteries. Magnesium is primarily used for weapons, which is quite nice. So we'll actually create a new one here, and we'll call it Mag-Nic. And I'll just call it under. I'm going to take it off the HUD for the moment because we don't really need it. But just in case we do. There we go. I'm just going to collect... Oh, it is really dark under here. I'm just going to collect some rocks. So we'll see. I'm just using the drill on the ground here. And then you can see we've got some stone in our inventory, which we'll put into the survival kit. Doesn't do anything, which is fine, because what we want to do is come in here and we're going to have a look at the ingots tab, which you can see here. You can create some gravel, and what it needs is 100 stone to create some of this gravel. So we're actually just going to press shift and control, load up 1,000 and see how that goes. So you saw our 200 only did 2, but we got a tiny bit of iron, nickel and silicon. Those are the main ingredients of stone. We are producing the gravel through the survival kit here, but later on gravel's just going to be a side product of the bigger refinery blocks. Now that we have some of these, you can see that we can, for example, build one of the computers, which would need 0.17 iron. We got plenty of that, and 0.7 silicon wafer. So that's going to be the bottleneck at the moment, is we wouldn't be able to produce more than one computer here, even though we have the iron. There's also things like the solar cells, which are useful for solar panels. And then you've got all these different interior plates and everything like that, displays, motors. Steel plate, you can just see there's quite a few things that need the nickel and the silicon. So yeah, we're going to have to get a lot of rocks, essentially. Is how it's going to work. There is a lot of... Oh, is this the same nickel? This is the same nickel. Silly. So there was that boulder that we were going to have a look at. Let's just press X to get our hydrogen up and running a little bit. There we go. So there was that boulder over there. So I'm actually going to fly over there right now. And I want to see what it is. Boulders always tend to have a lot of rock, obviously. And then they also have a ore in them as well. So this one looks like it could be... Ooh, silver. Silver's not too bad. I don't believe it can be processed by the survival kit. I think it needs a basic refinery in order to do anything. But for now, I am just going to get some extra rocks before we go back. I'm going to pick my GPS, new from current position, and I'm going to say something like AGB. So now I know this is how I tend to do it, is AGB would mean silver, and B, it's a boulder. Just the way that I like to do it. It might be worth me coming back in the day once the sun is risen. Alright. Gotta be careful with our health, but the good thing is, when we come back here, we can actually get our power back, we can get our health back, we can also get our hydrogen back. Ah, and oxygen. All of it. All of it. Which is quite nice. It does take a little while, though. Cool. We can also, instead of dragging across, so we go I to have a look at the inventory here. Instead of dragging it across, you can actually hold Alt and then middle mouse button, which will deposit everything it can in here. So you can see it actually dropped off all the steel plate that we were holding, and it dropped off all the stone, which automatically got processed because we had all of those gravel commands lined up, which is quite nice. So I'm going to do this for a little bit and we'll jump back when it's a little bit lighter. So as I was drilling, we actually got an unknown signal spawn. These are little pods that kind of get dropped out of the sky. So we're going to run over here. It is a kilometer away, which is quite a distance. But that's okay, because we've got our antenna telling us where the respawn pod is. We are just going to take our hydrogen a little bit. We're going to press spacebar, try to get as high as we can. And then we're going to turn it off for a little bit, just to try and conserve a little bit of fuel. And then we'll go again. Oh, there's a lake right here. Ooh. Ow, 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 ow. Let me at it. Overshot it a little bit. Ah! Alright, we need to go back up. We need to go back up. There you go. Every time. So the good thing is we still have that hydrogen bottle, which is very helpful. So when we run out of hydrogen, it's going to allow us to come back out. Of course, it was one of you. So some of these pods, not all of them, do happen to have thrusters on the bottom and they kind of run away from you. We got unlucky that the first one wanted to do that. But I think it's... Come here. Come here. Aha, got ya. It's good fun to chase these. Right, so we managed to destroy its thruster, which is pretty good. But on the side here, you can see that there is normally a button, which at the moment we can't press, because I think it's just hasn't been set up correctly. But there's this one here, which we can press, and we get a chance to get a special item, which we got the rainbow gloves, which is fantastic. And then there's also one of these little cargo containers, which generally have got some nice items in them. They got a plushie. These plushies cannot be produced, they can only be picked up, which really nice actually to start with. It's got itself an antenna, and you can see all those materials that we're actually getting. Most of the materials are... They do come back when you grind them down one for one. There's certain types that don't. So for example, power cells, they generally come back as scrap. Small batteries, so you see we wouldn't have got the power cells out of that battery, we just got a little bit of scrap metal. And there's a sensor built in as well. This basically determined...
Inventory full. Inventory full.
Oh well, we're full. Well, I'll just go back with that then. I think that's okay. There's a respawn pod. We could always come back and get the materials. Nah, we'll leave it. They'll always spawn. But it is good to know that there is that ice lake just on the other side. Because we're going to want to move. And I'm going to crash. Gotta slow down. Gotta slow down. Alright. Alright, that's... Nice. We stuck the landing. Cool, so there's a few things that couldn't be deposited. Essentially anything that can't be made in here can't be deposited in here either. That's a little bit unfortunate. You can see there's still some things that just cannot be dropped in there. So we kind of want to go to small cargo container, get that access and drop it in there, but we can't. So we're going to have to think about what we want to do with these things. They're all very good parts for us to have. We just need to think about how exactly we're going to deposit them, which we'll work out in a bit. So I'm going to go back to drilling. When we're mining our stone, you can also notice that while we're digging the hole that we have all of this grass layer, and then it kind of transitions into the stone. It's actually really good. Instead of scraping the top here, which you can see doesn't really give us much stone at all. But when you're digging in something like this, if you just scrape it, you get a little bit more, which is quite nice. So you will find that it goes a lot quicker if you're mining deeper and deeper underground, which is pretty good. I'm kind of just making my way to that nickel at the moment. But we do have something that I do want to do. While we're having a look here, we'll drop off that stone. We'll come here quickly. We'll quickly collect some more. So when we try and deposit it, you'll notice we haven't actually deposited everything. And the reason for that is we kind of don't have enough space. One thing I want to do is actually get a medium cargo container. These medium cargo containers are only available for small grid, which you can see by these kind of things here. You can see medium only has that. It needs displays, motors, computers, construction comp, and interior plate. So what we can do is we can take one of them on our hotbar. We can get some of the interior plates. I think we had a little bit of it. And then we can at least place one block down. So you can see the big side is going to connect to the big side so that it can allow for larger items to be passed through it. And that really does matter later on in the game. There's some things like large tubes, they can't be passed through these small gaps. And what we can do then as well is you can see our inventory is now empty. What we'll do is we'll drop off all that stone and it will carry on. But what you can do is you can right click on these blocks and you can add it to the build planner, which is all the way down here, and it will say how much of each item you need. And then you can go up to your cargo container or your survival kit or anything like that that's connected to your items, and you can middle click, which will give you everything that you currently have available, which you can see there was the construction comp, the computers, the motors, no displays or interior plates. And then you can go back here and you can shift click to actually put those into production, which is really nice. So those will start producing. Might throw that display a little bit earlier, and then we can just middle click and add if we wanted to. We have another unknown signal there, which I might go and grab actually. I kind of want to wait for this to finish, just so I can show you guys. Felt like something was moving. Maybe it's just me. There we go, and we'll finish up this medium cargo container. I say finish up, we haven't quite. There you go. We were missing one part. And then essentially we can dump anything that we want in here. So if we have a look, I think we can take it out here, so we can pull them all the way out. We can pull all of our construction components if we wanted to, which is pretty handy. What we can also do is just deposit all of them in there as well. And then let's grab a little bit more stone, just as an example. And in the beginning, it really doesn't hurt to just have loads and loads of mining sessions with stone. You can set up a little bit more of a permanent base, but I think because we have an ice lake so close, I don't really want to do that yet. And then I'll do the same as we do before, Alt middle, mouse button, and that will deposit into the medium cargo container, which then the survival kit will pull it across, which is quite nice. Alright, let's go get this, shall we? This is a bit awkward. Our unknown signal is in a tree. Now, you can actually chop these trees down, which is pretty cool. Alright, we got our button. Let's see what we get. Ah, nothing this time round. We're going to come here, have a look at the small cargo. We got some interior plates. Fantastic. What I like to do is always get things like the small batteries, the buttons, anything that has... well, maybe not the buttons. Anything that you can't produce is always quite handy to get. You got the parachute hatch there. That got small steel tubes, which is always nice. And then I'll kind of go for the antenna. At the moment, because we don't have a whole bunch of large steel tubes clogging up our inventory, we can actually get this entire thing, which it's only a little bit of a small steel plate, but it's definitely worth it in the beginning because it will just save you a few mining trips if you don't really fancy doing that. And then we'll head back, shall we? So when our hydrogen is starting to get a little bit low in our bottle, for example, we can always chuck that into the O2H2 generator and you'll see it will fill up and make everything a lot better for us. I think I have a mod on at the moment that's called auto refill bottles, so that when you use it at a survival kit and things like that, it will actually just fill it up for you, rather than you having to do the manual placing it into the O2H2. This has been a extremely weird start. We've had instant darkness, we've then had rain, we've then had fog. But we can see in the night sky there, we've got a couple planets. I believe that's Mars. I'm not sure which that one is over there. We got the moon right there, which is really close and really gorgeous. Don't think I can see any others at the moment. So there's about 10 for us to explore. We've all... oh, there's another one over there. Is that one over there as well? Who knows? But yeah, looking forward to it. While we're still in the dark, what we might do is we're actually going to destroy this passenger seat. I'll see if I can weld it up, but I don't think we need it for anything in particular. Yeah, it didn't give us anything for the progression. So we're going to weld that one up. I'm actually going to destroy some of these blocks to give us a little bit of headroom. There we go. Because the next thing we want to do is actually get a control seat. Because as we were falling, we didn't have any control over where we were going, what we were doing, anything like that. So we need to fix that. And the way that we're going to do that is we're going to use a control seat. Which I'm not too sure where we're going to put it. I kind of want to just plop it down there. So for now, let's get rid of you. Get rid of you. And maybe we expand this one out a little bit. And then we can put control seat just there. Which is pretty nice. And then, like I said before, anything you want to put to your build planner, just right click it. Come over to any of your inventory. Middle mouse button to pick up everything that you need. And if you can't, shift middle mouse button and it will put it into production. Which is pretty handy. There we go. And then we should be able to grab the control seats. Very nice. And then that should have given us, yep, loads more progression blocks. Primarily the gyroscope, which is what we were after. So you can see here it gave us a whole bunch of these blocks here. The gyroscope is the biggest one, which we're going to need a large steel tube for, which I believe we do have currently. Yep, we do have a single large steel tube, which is going to be very good for us. Let's have a look at gyroscope. Where are we going to put this? We can put it kind of wherever we want. I'll just put it there for now. Again, we can get large steel tubes from these atmospheric thrusters. We need 3 more computers, so we'll just shift click and get those producing. Now that we've got our control seat as well as our gyroscope, I think it's time that we actually try and move this whole rig. There's a few things that we could do. We do have the ability to change the direction of these atmospheric thrusters. We're not actually going to do that at the moment. And I realized that's where we got one of our metal grids and our steel tubes. It's actually from that unknown signal, which is a really good idea. Yeah, so we can change the direction of this atmospheric thruster, which I might do that for one of these. So I'm going to grind this one down. And then we'll go here, we'll type in atmospheric thruster. Just a normal little one here, and we can turn it around just like that. Now the reason we want to do that is because we don't really have any reverse thrust. And I kind of want to leave the rest of them here just so that we have enough to actually lift us up. We're going to jump into the control seat. We're going to go to I, and then we can have a look at the control panel. And then you can press this little I. Normally all of these are actually hidden, which is good to note, but then you can just use show hidden block and you'll actually find these thrusters. This is the one that we've built, which you can see just there, and then these are the ones that we use on the way down, which the blocks have been turned off. So what we're going to do is we'll show all these blocks in the terminal. We'll turn them all on. And then we have a hydrogen thruster here as well, which I'm not actually going to use because it is going to need some hydrogen. But we're going to leave it. So you can see here, when we're trying to take off, we have some thrust there, which is quite nice. But the thing is, we do have our landing gears, which we kind of need to unlock from the ground, because you can see that they are green somewhere. Which one of you decided to be green? This one over here is green. The other two are ready to lock, but they haven't quite locked yet. The downside is they do that automatically. So we kind of want to come here. We'll go show block and terminal. We'll make a group called landing gear. And we'll turn auto lock off. And we'll save that. When we come to our G menu, we can put some things on the toolbar while we're flying. One of those can be the landing gear, which we can say switch lock. So I highly recommend not doing this in the in the darkness. But what we're going to do is we're going to unlock it, and we're actually going to fly off here. Now, as you can tell, we're only stable in certain conditions. We're only stable. So what we're going to do is we're going to try aim forward a little bit, use those thrusters by pressing spacebar to actually get us over this hill. Now I don't really want to risk going anywhere else at the moment, so we're just going to face forward so that we get a bit of forward momentum, and then we'll level off if we want to just calm down a little bit. So we're going to come over this way. You can see that reverse thruster is actually working really hard to keep us from going too quickly forward, which is perfect because we don't really want to do that. Now what I am going to do is just drift a little bit here. Turn my thrusters off just for a second, just to give us a bit more speed there. And then we've got our ice lake, which is quite cool. There is that little island over there. Maybe we take over the island. That could be pretty good. Alright, we'll do that. Gonna aim forward again, so we can see where we're going. And then we're gonna just dip on over there. If you see any form of ice or snow or anything like that, you definitely want to move, because ice can be quite valuable, if not just for your jetpack. Okay, we want to move forward. It's so dark right now, and it's a bit scary if we're facing this way, so I like to stay in third person. I'm one of those people. There we go. And then we're just gonna ease ourselves off a little bit there. Maybe we'll slide slightly to the left and forward. trying to get ourselves into a nice position. Oh, it's always tricky. I always struggle with these things. Here we go. Alright. Alright, we're gonna try and come to a bit of a land. Might be a bit of a rough one, but that's fine. You can see we've spotted some ice. Good to know. So I kind of want to just go forward a little bit. We're going to lean up a little bit. And we're just going to play this game for now. Until we can at least get to a spot that we're happy with. I'm going to park right on this side of the ice. Ooh. I find it extremely difficult to control these things sometimes. You know what? This will do. This spot will do. And this spot will do. Can we go forward? Right. And then we're gonna... There you go. That'll do. And then we're locked. Can we say perfect? Probably not. But that's what we're going to do. And I think for that episode, I think we're going to call it there. We've managed to find ourselves a nice little ice lake, a nice little island, which we can use. We can maybe build a nice solar array or some wind turbines up there. And yeah, I'm happy with that. And yeah, we'll catch you all in the next one. Bye for now.